Okay, another one I wanted to talk to you about was this whole idea that people have been complaining when they found out the length of No Time to Die. Apparently, its runtime is pretty much around the 3 hour mark, which is a lengthy film.
Yes.
But it makes me think of this whole concept that seems to be a new thing, really, where I don't know if it's just young people or whether it's people my age or older as well, but them complaining that some movies are too long, like a 3 hour movie. But the gripe I have is a lot of these same people will happily go and binge 7 hours worth of Netflix TV series in one night and not think twice about that. Now, I appreciate it's a different format because you're getting it episodically, and it might be half hours or hours or whatever. And this is like, oh no, the millennials and the Gen Z have to concentrate for longer than 5 minutes at a time for 3 hours on a film. I don't know whether it's got to do with people needing a wee in the cinema or what, but what's the problem here, Dave? Can you explain it to me? Because, 3 hours of, they tell me No Time to Die is 3 hours long. I'm thinking, yes, 3 hours of Bond.
That's it. That was my reaction. 2 hours, 43 minutes is scheduled in for.
That's not even three. It's
exactly
two and 3/4.
The longest Bond ever, they're saying. But to me, it's like, well, yeah, if it's the ending to this era, this Daniel Craig era, which has been so good, you want that monumental film to me. Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. Obviously, plenty of people complaining on it. There's just people defending it as well, but there's loads of people moaning online, as there always is. The press were having a slow news day, so this got picked up and, of course, went in the press. But as we were talking about this before, and I'd said that there's also this weird thing, people are saying long films, but I'd seen loads of films recently that are like 80 minutes, 90 minutes, a lot shorter on streaming platforms. But I thought, let's have a look then, what is the truth? And perception is very interesting on the topic, I think, because although big films more recently have come out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was 3 hours, Avengers Endgame was 3 hours, Justice League was 4 hours, The Irishman 3.5 hours, but they're just like four big films that you could pick out and they stand out. But actually, when you take all the rest of it in, they're just four films. I found on this website Towards Data Science, and they did an analysis of films over the years. And actually, films are no longer or shorter than ever before. They've consistently stayed at about 100 minutes is the average length of a film. That's consistent since the 50s. And there's never been a change in that length of film, really, over time. It's all consistent. So you see on the graphs here as we pull them up. So it's never really changed. There's always been like 3 hour films. You go back to musicals and epics from the 60s.
David Lean films, Dr. Zhivago is a long film. I think that's getting on for 3 hours, if not more. The Star Wars films themselves have got considerably longer as we've gone over time. No one complained there. So, I just don't get it. To me, like I said, people complain, is it a long film? And you think, you're going to fucking sit there and watch 9 hours of Netflix series anyway.
Exactly.
Or, what's the problem with watching a film that's 3 hours long?
I also think like value for money. If I was going to the pictures, I'd want value for my ticket. It's a strange argument. I don't quite understand, because it's like, well, especially if like, a lot of people watching at home nowadays, the old quote from Alfred Hitchcock, wasn't it, was length of a film should be the size of...
should correlate to the capacity of the human bladder or something like that.
Yeah.
In other words, it shouldn't be any longer than when you need a piss, There's nothing worse than that, is there? When you're watching a movie and you get about halfway through and you've been had a big thing of Coke, or you've had a couple of bottles of water or something, and you're starting to think, it's terrible. You shouldn't do it because it's bad for you. But I end up sitting on it because I don't like to. I don't mind if you're at home, you pause it and you can just stop and start whenever you want, but I'm not going to stop it for you in the cinema. And I don't like to miss anything, but I have been in that position before where,
you hold it on,
you get caught short, and you either go and miss that few minutes because you're desperate, or you hold on to it and you end up leaving the cinema like crippled, like, because, your bladder's about to burst.
with more people watching things on streaming now and at home and stuff, it's like, well, they can just pause a film anyway. So it just seems a bit people arguing over nothing, really.
No, I suppose not.
It's a clever argument. I'm not sure it'll produce the end you desire.
Well, I'm glad it's 2 hours, 43 minutes. I wouldn't want it to be any shorter because it's, like you say, it's the last Daniel Craig Bond film. It's going to be a big blockbuster bonanza. You want your money's worth. What do you say watching this? Are you a fan of long films? Would you prefer them to be short? Let us know in the comments. Let us know why. Either way, it would be interested to hear your thoughts on this particular topic.